Okay, so we did a brief description, brief discussion about C. We started the introduction, like what C is, what are its applications, what is its relevance, and all that. So today we are going to start with some features, or some, let's say, some things which are important about C. Okay, so the first thing we are going to start with is constants. Uh, 1 second. My screen is visible, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So first, constants. What are constants? Okay. So what are we going to discuss here? We are going to discuss about what constants are, and we are then going to explain different kind of constants, like what are the different types. So first of all, we need to understand what constants are. So constants are fixed values that do not change during program execution. Okay. So basically, you declare a variable in C or in any language. Let's say you declare a variable integer a. Okay. Now integer a, you can change its value anytime in the program. But if you declare the variable as constant integer a,
यहाँ पे क्लिक करोगे खुलेगा, उसको कहीं ना कहीं आपको एक ऑप्शन
hey,
मिलेगा
please mute your
जहाँ पे
mic.
आप ट्रांसफर
Who's
कर
this?
सकते हैं कॉपी और सेव कर, वहां से आपको
Genome, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic, Genome. Oh. He's not listening, maybe. Anyways, Genome, it's causing some disruption here. Can you please mute your mic? Okay, I can mute you from here only. All right. Okay, so what I was saying, constants. Yeah, constants are basically values that do not change throughout the program. Now, what they are, we will learn in a while. I'll show you a program also. So first of all, what are the types of constant? There are two types of constants. One is numeric constant, another is character constant. Okay, so the name itself suggests that numeric constant basically stores numbers, any numbers that is stored under the section numeric constants. Okay, in the character constants, anything, any kind of character, A, B, C, D, anything, any sentence, any symbol, digits, all that is stored under the section character constants. Okay, so next we come. Okay, yeah, so basically there are two different categories of constants. Now they are further divided into more categories. Now in numeric constants, two different kind of constants are possible. One is integer constant, another is real constant. Now I will tell you what the difference is. Let's say you have you declared a variable. Let's say you declared constant integer a equals to -5. Now -5 is an integer. That means the value of a is going to be -5 throughout the complete program, throughout the complete coding and execution. The value of a will never change from -5. It is always going to be -5. So what type of constant is that? That is an integer type constant. Okay. Another type, that is the real constants. Now in real constants, for example, you have a number constant a equal to 1.003. Now that 1.003, that is a real number. Okay, you all know, right, what are real numbers? Hello?
Yes, I know.
Okay, all right. So now when in that case, we are going to use a constant of type what? They are going to be real constants, because now we are storing real number values in those constants. Okay. Another section is which one? That is character constants. Now character constants are of two types. First type is single character constants. Suppose you declared a character a equals to comma. What is that comma called, which is on top? Single comma. Can anyone tell me?
You mean quotation?
Yeah, quotation, right. Perfect. So quotation, it's always written under quotation, single quotations. That is going to be single character constant, and single character constant always stores only one character, whatever that character may be. That can be an alphabet, that can be a digit, symbol, always one character. Next is string constants. Now, string constants can have one or more than one characters in them, any kind of characters. Okay, and string constants are always written in apostrophe. They are written in between apostrophe. Okay, there are two quotation marks, if I'm saying right. Okay, so now, yeah, this is the basic classification. Two types of constants are there: numeric and character constants. The numeric has two types, furthermore two types of constant, that is integer constant, real constant. Now, real constant can have fractional values, it can have exponential values. We will just discuss a few minutes later what are the exponential values. Integer constants okay, now integer constants can have, because integers are both positive and negative, so integer constants can have two type of values, that is +1, -1, -10, -5, +7, +8, anything, any integer that's counted in here. Okay, next comes the character constants. In this there are two types. One is single character constant, another is string constant. Okay, now in single character constant, what are the things? Alphabet can be there, any digit can be there, any symbol can be there, and always it's written between single quotation, that is for character. For string, apostrophe is used, string of characters. And string of character means, let's say you have written a sentence. Okay, like last day we saw a program, in that we had an output that said printf hello world. Okay, now hello world is more than one character, that's why it's written under apostrophe. So next, okay, so now integer constants. Now integer constants furthermore have more types of constants. Okay, like there are more than one number system. Basically, we are used to study in the decimal system, like 0 to 9. Everything we do, our mathematics normally that we read, it's between 0 to 9. Any number, if you take any number 1005, it has all the numbers that it is made of, all of them fall between 0 to 9. Like 1009, 1, that's between 0 to 9, 0, 0 to 9, 0, 0 to 9, 5, 0 to 9. So 1005, all the numbers are in between 0 to 9. So that system is called decimal system. Okay, and any sequence of numbers, normally any sequence of number are called to be in decimal system, like we use every day. So now in this decimal integer, now what is a decimal integer? Can anyone tell me what is a decimal integer or a decimal integer constant? You can unmute your mic and you can speak.
Integers whose combination is from 0 to 9.
Yeah, any number which is made with the combination of 0 to 9, that falls under the decimal one. Okay, and decimal integer constant is what? Any integer, okay, any integer that's made with the combination of 0 to 9, okay, and its value does not changes throughout the program, that is a decimal constant integer. Okay, also integers can be either positive or negative, as you can see here the examples. Okay, now because like in life also, when we are doing maths, we have to tell if it's a negative number, there is a minus sign here. Okay, so here also, if it's a positive number, there's a plus sign. If it's a negative number, it's a minus sign. And if there is no sign, we assume that okay, it is a positive number. If no sign precedes an integer constant, it is assumed to be positive. Like when we are writing a number, if there is no sign before that, that means we know, okay, no, it's generally we know that it's a positive number. Okay. You understood the decimal integer system?
Yes.
Okay. So next we have octal integer system. Now, what are octal? Like just like our decimal system, the computer has, because the computer does not works in decimal system. The computer works in octal, binary, hexadecimal. Okay, so we will start with the octal system first. Now, octal system has all numbering between 0 to 7. Okay, let's say you have you want to say 8. Okay, so you cannot use 8 there. That is there is a different format of using 8 there. Okay, you can understand, people?
Yes.
If you want to write, you have to write 11. If you want to write 8, you have to write 11 in octal system. Now, let's say someone wrote this number 3446. Okay. Now, a person can easily get confused that is it octal system or is it decimal system, because it falls both under 0 to 9 and also under 0 to 7, right? Hello. You guys,
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
this one, it falls both under 0 to 9 and 0 to 7. So to differentiate that it is an octal system, a 0 is used before writing the number. Now this 0 represents what? That okay, no, this is not a decimal system number, it's a octal system number. And how do we know that? Because we use a 0 before we write the number. Okay, I think it's clear. Next we have
Yes.
hexadecimal system. Now hexadecimal, it has 16 characters. Okay, there are 16 symbols used for in the hexadecimal number system. So first 10 characters are 0 to 9, just like our decimal system. And you see even the name is, how's the name? Decimal means 10, hexa means 6, so that means 6 plus 10, total 16 characters are here. So the decimal first 10 characters are from the decimal system, 0 to 9. The next 6 are 6 characters. Okay, A to F. So basically A is like 11th symbol, B is 12th symbol, C is 13th symbol, D is 14th symbol, E is 15th, F is 16th. Okay, so let's say in decimal system you have a number 12. Okay, you want to write that number in what system? In hexadecimal system. So in hexadecimal system you only have numbers until decimal until 9. After 9, 10th will be what? A, 11th will be B, 12th will be C. Okay, do not get confused by this numbering system. This is the serial numbers. Okay, this is not its value. This is like the 11th character in the hexadecimal. That's why it's 11 is written here. A is equal to 10, because since we start the systems from 0, so from 0 to 9 there are 10 numbers, and A is the 11th number. But the value of A is how much? It's 10. So when you want to let's say we want to write 12 in this system, that is C. Okay, now how do we differentiate that this is which system? Although we can see here only that A to F is there, but let's say you have a number 9, you don't know it's 9 is decimal or hexadecimal or octal system. So for that, 0x is used before writing any number. Okay, 0x, that x can be either small or big, that does not matter, but 0x, this is written before. And you might have seen this sometimes when your computer gives error or some codes, you might have seen this 0x, then there is a long list of characters. Okay, so this is 0x is used here to represent which one? Yeah, to represent the hexadecimal system, we start 0x, we use 0x here before we write the numbers. Okay, so now real constants, we were talking about real constants.
Excuse me.
Yeah, okay.
In the previous one, you said A is 10, right?
Yes, A is 10. Yes.
Okay, then what about F?
F is 15. It's the same sequence. B is 11, C is 12, D is 13, E is 14, and F is 15. Now,
Then
many.
this one is wrong, right?
No, it's not wrong. I will tell you where you guys are getting confused. The system has total 16 symbols. Okay, but in the computer world, the counting starts from where? From 0. Okay, so 0 is also a character, right? Hello.
Yes, I'm following.
So 0 to 15, you have total 16 characters, because you're not starting your counting from 1. Generally, we count from 1, but in computer, the counting starts from where? 0, from 0. Okay, so 0 to F, it's like 0 to 15. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 to 15 is 15 symbols, and 0 is the 16th symbol. Is that clear now? And now I will tell you what you are seeing here. Why A is 11 here. A is the 11th character, because 10 characters are here. 0 to 9, 10 characters. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is the number at which it comes. It's not its value. Is that understood?
Yes, got it.
Yeah, the value of
Yes.
A is 10, but for example, I'll just give a simpler example. Let's say in the decimal number system, the value of 9 is how much? It's 9. Okay. But at what place it comes? It comes at 10th place. It is the 10th integer. 10th, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is the 10th whole number, right? It comes because from 0 the whole numbers start. So the 10th whole number is what? It is 9. But the value of 9 is 9. Just same way, A is the 11th one. 11th, A comes at 11th place. But the value of A is how much? It is 10. If the number stated system started from 1, in that case, A would have been 11, because 1 to 10, and then this would have been 11. The value should have been 11. But here, the value is 10, but its position is 11th. It is the 11th character in the hexadecimal system. Okay. I will just move ahead now. Now, we have two types of real constants. One is the fractional one, another is the exponential one. Now, we discussed before that what is the fractional type. Okay, we will do it more clearly now here. Okay. Now, before that, there are some rules for the fraction one. A real constant must have at least one digit. Okay, a real constant must have at least one digit. Okay, second rule is must have at least one decimal point. So let's say we take a number 0.1. Okay, so this number satisfies two of our conditions. First condition is what? There is at least one number. 1 is there, 0 is there. So we have two numbers here. So that condition is satisfied, that there should be at least one number. Second condition is there should be at least a decimal. There has to be a decimal point. Only then it is counted in real constant. Okay. So these are the two rules. Secondly, just like normal integers, they can also be positive and negative. By default, if there is no sign there, it is considered to be a positive real number. If there is a sign, like if it is a negative number, there will be a minus sign before we write it. Okay. Also, no commas or blanks are allowed within a real constant. For example, you want to write a long, because for example, we write 50,000. Okay. Now between 50,000, we put a comma after the second zero. 500, comma 000. But that is not allowed here. You cannot use any comma or any blank. The only thing allowed is a decimal point. That is the only thing that is allowed there. Okay. So now, we come to the exponential form of real constants. Okay. Now, when exponential forms are used, they are used when you want to represent either really big number or really small number. Okay. Either you are trying to represent really big number in a short form, you're trying to represent that, or in a very short number. So I will just show you what are the things here. In an exponential constant, two parts are there. The first part is called mantissa. The second part is called the exponent. Okay, mantissa, and between both the part, what is there? The letter E is there, and that E can be either small, it can be capital. That does not matter. You can use it either way. And just like the other integer constants, other real constant, it can also be positive or negative depending on what the value we are trying to represent. Okay, the mantissa part can be positive or negative. Same way, the exponent part can also be positive or negative. I will give you examples, then you guys will understand also what I'm saying here. Okay, so the next rule is the exponent part should have at least one digit. It has to have at least one, any value, it has to have one digit. Only then it is a real constant. It's a exponential form constant. Okay. Also, exponent part comes after the E, after the letter E. Before the letter E, the mantissa part is there. After the letter E, the exponent part is there. And we will just give you an example also. See here, we are writing a big number 68,000,000,000. Okay. So if we are going to write it in an exponential form, we wrote 68 E and then 8. Now 8 is what? It is the power. It is the power. It is of 10 base. Okay. E8 means what? That it is of 68 is multiplied by 10 to the power of 8. That's what E is showing here. E is using the base 10. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes, bro.
Yes.
Okay. E is using the base of 10. So this basically means 68 multiplied by 10 to the power 8. Okay. We can shorten it even more, 6.8. Now here we used small e, here we used big E. We can use either E, small e, big E, no problem. So 6.8 into 10 to the power 9. So this is the way to represent that in what? In exponential form. Now next we will come and okay. And yeah, I was saying this. Mantissa, which part is Mantissa? This part is Mantissa, this 68. Or in this case, the 6.8. And exponent is this one, this 8 or this 9. They are the exponent part. And in between, what separates them? What separates them is the E, small or capital, either way. Next, we have character constants. Now, character constants, as I told you before, they are of two types. Okay. One is single character constant, another is string character constant. Okay. So now that there are some rules here also. A character constant is a single alphabet, a single digit, or a single special symbol enclosed within single quotes. I told you this, that any kind of character, whether it is alphabet, or a digit, or a special symbol, but single, only one of them, and it is enclosed within single quotes. You are only using single quotes to represent it. In that case, it will fall under this category, single character constants. Okay. And maximum length of a character constant is one character, because the name itself is telling us that single character means only one character we can accommodate there. Okay. Another one is string character constants. Okay. Now, and there is one more thing. Characters cannot be followed by a blank space or even a comma. Okay. Yeah. Let's say, okay, 1 second. I will just write here. Let's say, you wrote this a, and then you put a comma. This is wrong. It won't work like this. It's a character. It's a single character. This comma cannot stay here. This is the right format. You cannot also use a blank here. You cannot use that. Okay. This has to be written like this only. Okay. So next, sorry. Which page I was? Oh, here. Okay. So next we have character constants, that is of type string character constants. Now, what is string character constant? A sequence of characters enclosed in double quotes. Okay, you can see the example here. Double quote 1982, more than one character here. And what it is a digit. We are using digits here. Next is hello. We are using alphabets here. Next is special symbols. This kind of comma and exclamation mark. Again, this is enclosed within what? With. Okay, I will just announce this. 10 minutes later, the session will end automatically. And to join it, just click on the link, because we have 40-minute time limit for each session. Okay. So everybody don't get confused. Link which you have received on WhatsApp. As soon as this session ends automatically, I will also remind before that, just click on that link and it will start. Okay. Because I just received the reminder. Okay. So now, this is what type? This is of string type. These characters are of string type because they are enclosed in double quotes. Also, string type can also have single character, but how do we know it's a string? Because it's enclosed in a double quote, but it is of type string. These are called data types: integer, character, string, float. All these are data types. Now, different kind of types, different forms to represent data, to store data. Okay, we will discuss them because today we are going to discuss a little bit. Now see, both have what? A, and this also have A, but both of them are different. This is of character type, sorry, single character type, and this is of string character type, because string character, when once it's in string, it will get a bigger space in memory to be stored, because the computer knows, okay, no, the user is trying to write a string of characters. He needs more space. But here, the computer knows, no, it's just one character. It only needs 1 byte of data to be stored, 1 bit, sorry, to be stored. Here, the computer knows that. Okay. That's why it is of character type, and this is of string type. Single quote, double quote, that differentiates them. Okay, 1 second. Okay, now before we go ahead, because now some people will get confused, so I have made a chart also. Just 1 second. Okay, some more images were there. 1 minute, 1 minute. I don't know why they are not showing here. Okay, so now I'll have to open the LMS, I think. Yeah. Okay, now yeah, this one I was talking about. Now these are some they are called backslash character constants. Now they are used to format the output in a certain way. Okay, I have made a small C program also to show you like how, like there is slash b, there is slash f, there is slash n, there is slash r, slash t, slash v. Okay, these all have what they do. If you want your output to look in a certain way, you use these things. Okay, in that case you use these things. I'll just show you a small program. That program is here. That small program will you will understand that what these different ones, different kind of constants do, what's their purpose, what happened. Why are you doing like this? Okay, I don't know why it's not working. Okay, but 1 second. Okay, first I will explain it here only what they are doing. Okay, then you will know. Okay, so now backslash p, what it does, let's say you wrote a line, hello world. Okay, and then just after you ended the world, writing the world, if you see if you use this one, what it will do, when you execute your program, it will take the cursor. It's the cursor, by default the cursor should be after world. Okay, world end, the cursor should be there after world has ended. But this will take one step back. If you use it once, it will take it one step back, and then the cursor will be on d, because d is the last character. That there the cursor will be. Okay, similarly slash n, if you are using it at any place, anything that you write after that, that's going to be after one, that's going to be one line below. That's what slash n does. Okay, if this opened, I would have just shown you. I don't know why. Okay, I think it's open now. Okay. Okay, I will just make a program in front of you guys only, because I think that program is missing somewhere. I made it, but it's gone. I'm audible, right? Because everyone is quiet, so I don't know if I'm audible or
Yeah,
not.
yes.
Yes, bro.
I'll just, it's a small program. So it's a simple program. It's only going to output what data we are telling it to output, nothing else. It will just show this on the screen. Okay. Let's say it's our first C++ program. And tomorrow I will also, tomorrow or whichever day, or today also we can do that. If you all are on laptop, we all need to set up this C++ application or C application so that we can write programs and we can practice things. Okay. So installation, when there will be time, I will tell you how to do that. Okay. Now, yesterday I told you return, when this return is used, this is used if you want the program to return any value at any point. It by default, it's not necessary, but in time you will learn where it is used. Also, one thing before we end the program, that is get ch. Because now if I compile it, it won't run, because get ch is for it will run, but you won't be able to see the output because it will run and go away. Once compile and run. Now, since this is C, we are reading C, so we have to change the source file type to .c. It's not C++. Okay. Okay. So it has compiled and okay, sorry, there is one error here. See, like this, if you missed anything, it will give you error. For example, I misprint F. I missed the F here, so it gave me an error. So first, to check error, we click on compile. It compiles our program. There is no error. It will say done, no errors, 0 errors. Next thing we want to do is run our program, compile and run. But see, you did not see the output. The output came, but it came and went so fast you did not saw it. But so we will use get ch here. Get ch, it holds our output. That's what it does. It holds the output screen. It retains the output. Now see, this time it will not go away. It will come.
Yes.
Okay. So this is how your output is going to come. Now see, we gave one input, that is, we told the program to print this one line here. Okay. Now we are going to see that what does using different constant character this constant does. Okay. We will just see now. So the first one is /b. Okay. So we need to close this output because before we compile and rerun the program again. So we are going to use here /b. Let's say we use 3/b, and this /b is not really very useful these days. It's also used very rarely, but I'll still tell you what it does. Okay, something, I used it wrong. It has to be this one, /. Okay, now see, what happened here is the cursor in the first time we compiled, it was here, but now it has gone four space before, and yeah, also blank is also counted in string. Blank is also counted as a character. So first character, second character, third character, fourth character. The cursor is where? It's on the fourth one, whereas it should have been on where it should by normally it will be here. If we just remove this /b, the cursor, you will see it will be just after this exclamation mark. See, the cursor is here, right? Everyone can see that. Everyone understood what is the difference in both of this situation? When we used /b, now we will use another one. Okay, we will just now I'm going to use all of them together in different lines. So we will see in a complete setup what is happening here. Okay, so there's /b, we keep this one empty, nothing extra. we use \b here. We use, and we will need \n in all of them, because one I will show you without \n, and you will see what the problem is there. \n, \n, \n. Every sentence will need \n, and you will just understand in 2 minutes why it does needs that. Because when we don't use it, we are going to get some little bit jumbled kind of output. Next one is /f. Okay. /f/r/t. So we will use /f here, /r/t, /v is also here, I think. /rtv single. Okay, this one, single quote.
\.
Okay. One is 0 also. \0, \double quote, \single quote. Okay, so now we are going to compile the program, and you will see what happens here. Compile and run also. We have an error. Now, what is that error?
Slash is on wrong side.
No. Slash is
Yeah,
not on
put
wrong side.
forward slash.
No, it's not that. It's something else. I have to check here. Slash is. Can anyone locate what is wrong here? Anyone
Slash
see?
direction is wrong.
Which one? No, slash should be this direction only, I think. Backslash is, it's backslash, right? Okay, I'll just remove this one. We will see if there is any more error here. Okay, so we're not receiving an error, and we'll see an output just about now. Oh, it's compiling at this moment. Yeah, okay. Now see what is happening here. Oh, okay. Yeah, you are right. All the slash are in wrong direction, right? Yes, that's what you were saying. See, small mistakes, completely different outputs. That's what happens. We all need to learn these things. You were right. The direction of slash was wrong. Okay. /p /. This n also needs /. /. Because I came late today, so little bit of some things which I had prepared, I had to find them now, because I had made this program already. It was already in my system. I don't know where it went away though. So that's why little delay. Okay, now see, first line, it's hello world. It's printing hello world. Now see, we use this /n. It means new line. After this, the second output that will come after in the new line. This line will skip, new line. What does #f does? It will give this symbol. Okay. Next, we came to another line, and that is hello world /r. What does r does? Definitely it does something for sure. R does carry as return. Okay, it does something. We will have to use this on the last one to see what it does. Okay, for now I will just. Then we have /t. /t does what? Anything you write. Okay, I think, yeah, one thing that is needed here, the difference you will understand if there's no this one here. carriage return. Okay. Okay, now here tab. What tab does is /t. It before this sentence, it will give you one space, a gap of one space. That was in the third line. That's what we use this for. This is giving us a space here. Okay, so that our lines are not together, because below you will see that thing has happened. Okay, what does /v does? /v gives you this symbol. I think this is a male female symbol. Okay, another one is /0. It probably does nothing. Okay, next is yeah, if you want to use this, if you want to use a quote in your inside your string, if you want to use a quote, then you have to write it in this format. If you write a quote without using this \, it will give you an error. Your program will not compile. So if you want to use a quote inside this, in your output, if you want a quote, then you have to use this \. Same goes for this one, apostrophe. If you want to use an apostrophe in your output statement, you will need this \, this one. Now see, here we did not use \n. Here we did not use \n. What happened? The lines, they are clashing. They are like just right after each other. We did not use a tab either. For example, we use \t. We got a space gap here, but here we are not using anything. So this is a problem. So now you guys know why we need this tab or the \n. We need the \n, so our program gives output in next line once that is used. Okay, after \n and this is done. Okay, so now again see here also \n missing. So missing, that's why this line also together. Hello world, and then an apostrophe, then this line. Next line, here there is \n. It came fine in next line. Again missing, here also same line, and no space between. Missing, no space between. Okay, so this is what it does. This is what is the use of these things. You will all learn with time. It's very simple. It's not very difficult. Is it clear so far that what these constraints do? This constant constraints.
Yes,
okay. So next, we are going to move into a different kind of thing: integers and variables. Okay, now see, this is something. These are data types. Different kind of data is stored in different types of in different types of format. Okay, like one format is integer, one data type is integer, one is float, one is character. Okay, so now these are three like basic data types. There are many data types actually. Some will be modified ways. For example, in character there is single character, string character. Okay, so these are. And what does it says? Data representation in a computer depends upon the size of the machine. For example, there is a 16-bit computer. Okay, in that case, it will give integer a different space. What is that space? That is memory allocation. That if you are using an integer variable, that integer needs some kind of storage area to store the values that it is taking input or giving output. So now that that storage space is given to it by the computer, by the compiler, by the machine. Okay, and that depends how much storage it will get. It depends on what kind of machine it is, how advanced it is, or how primitive it is. For example, by default, normally integers are supposed to have two bits. An integer is supposed to be of 2 bit. Okay, integer is supposed to store 2 bit of data. Now, how much is 2 bit? You will just learn in just a little while. Character is supposed to store 1 bit. Okay, float is supposed to store 4 bits, and string, I think string is 8 bit. I think you'll just see now. I will tell you how these are stored and what is this thing. Now this is range. What is range? Range is the minimum to maximum number of things that data type can store, and I will show you just now how it is calculated and what it is done. Signed and unsigned integer. First, understand that we have to come here. We get out. This is done. Okay, so see, now this so far you only read like decimal system, but now today we know there are more systems than just the decimal system. Okay. So computer does not understand the language that we use. It does not understand 0 to 9. Those things computer does not understand. Computer, as I told you before in previous sessions, computer only knows 0 and 1. It only knows yes or no. In only that yes or no, we have to create different combinations to tell that the computer that we are trying to tell it something. We have to use that only. So there are okay. So there are systems like binary system, number system. Now this is the basic number system. This is the most primary number system. This is the system in which the computer talks. The computer talks, its components talk with each other. For example, let's say you turn on your power. Okay, the computer suddenly gets a number that is, and this system only has two values, 0 and 1. That 0 and 1, anything like true, false, on, off. Okay, yes, no. This is the only language that computer understand, and everything it does is translated in this language. I will tell you how it is translated. Okay, so for example, in our decimal system, we use this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now here we call it a base 10 number system, because the base, in the base we have 10 digits, 10 different individual digits that completes that they are the building blocks of the entire number system. Okay, these are called base 10. For example, you wrote 607 anything, this number. Okay, now this number, how it is made, it's made like this: 0 into 10 to the power 0. Actually it's yeah, okay, this is fine now. Next, 9 into 10 to the power. I think you all know this symbol also. This means power of something. This symbol, you understand this symbol, right?
Yes, bro.
Okay, 10 to the power, because this is I can do it faster this way. Next we have 8 into 10 to the power 2. Everyone is understanding what I'm doing here? Because this is how we calculate, right? This number places. This is the ones place, this is tens place, this is hundreds place. This is that's how the power are there. Tens place 10 to the power 1, hundreds place 10 to the power 2, that is hundreds place. Okay, now here 7 into 10 to the power 3, it is the thousands place, right? Okay, now we have 6 into 10 to the power how much? 4, right? Okay, okay, so this is how that number is formed. Okay, using the base of what? Using the base of 10. The entire number system, decimal system, works on the base of 10. Everyone understood this one? That what is the base? This is called the base.
Yes, bro.
Okay, now we have a different system, that is binary system. Okay, The binary system, how it works, we will see. Now, like I told you, the binary system was only 2 of this. So now this is by common sense, you know, this has 10 element. It has a base of how much? 10. Okay, right? It has 2 elements.
Yes, bro.
So anyone can tell me what is the going to be the base of this system?
2.
Right. So for example, if you wrote 10 here, okay, or if you wrote 1000, okay, so 1000 is going to be denoted like this. We are going to calculate, if we are going to calculate the value of 1000, then we are going to get this 0 into 2 to the power 0. 2 to the power 0. Or then again, next comes 0 into 2 to the power 1. Third 0, 0 into 2 to the power 2. And third one is 1 into 2 to the power 3. Okay, sorry. Okay, so everyone can see what is happening here. Is it clear what we are doing? We are just converting it. We are just writing it in the same form. Like this number, we wrote it in its form, in the decimal form. And this number, it has a base of how much? 2. The system is same. So how much is the final value is going to be? 2, 0 into 2 to the power 0, that is going to be 0. 0 into 2 to the power 1, that is going to be 0. 0 into 2 to the power 2, that is also going to be 0. 1 into 2 to the power 3. 1 into 2 to the power 3. How much is 2 to the power 3? It's 8. 8 into 1, 8. So the answer is going to be 8. Just like that, any number, let's say this is one of them. Let's say you wrote 001. So here, this represents 1 only. This means 1 only. How? I will show you. Equal to, just in one's place, 1 into 10 to the power 0. Now everyone knows that if any number has a power of 0, the final answer, it's going to be 1, right? If it says 5 to the power of 0, it means 1. So here the final result is 1 into 1 equal to 1. So this is basically the number system that computer understands. For example, we wrote a number.
That is 2 to the power of 2, right? Sorry, 1 to the power of 2.
Which one?
1 into 2 to the power of 2, right? The
1 into 2 to the power 2. Which one, bro? This one?
yeah, that is binary or decimal. The last 0001.
No, it's also in binary.
Yeah,
No.
so it will mean it is not 10, right? 2, right?
Oh, sorry,
1
sorry.
into 2 to the
yeah,
power.
yeah, you are right. Okay, sorry. Yes. Okay, so here 1 into 2 to the power 0 is equal to 1. So this is the system. For example, you took another number. You took this one, 110. Okay. Now here 0 into 2 to the power 0, 0. 1 into 2 to the power 1, 2. 1 into 2 to the power 2, 4. So 4 plus 6, 4 plus 2 equal to, the answer is going to be, when you convert in decimal, the answer is 6. This is the value of this. Now, so this is the language computer understands everything. Now, what happens here is, now you need, the computer also needs to know like which is plus, which is minus. So just like we use plus minus, first bit is left for that. First bit 1 or 0, that means it's positive or negative. If it is 0, that means it's a positive. If it is 1, that means it's negative. So for example, there is a machine which works on 16-bit system. Okay. So here how many bits are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So now let's start with what are bits. Bits are the smallest storage capacity of a computer. Okay. So that means if a computer is like 8-bit computer or 16-bit computer, that means the computer can process 16-bit of data, or it can store data in packages of 16 bits. Okay. That is this much is clear.
Yes, bro.
Okay. So now if we calculate the total value until here, until now, see, it is a 16-bit system, but first bit is used for what? It is used to represent the sign. Okay. So now we are only left with 15 spaces here. Therefore, that if you calculate this total is going to be 2 to the power 15 minus 1. The value is going to be this. You can check it by doing it yourself. 2 to the power 15, and the total system is how much? Total system is 2 to the power 16. Therefore, how much data can be stored in a 16-bit system? How will you know? That is, if you calculate this, you will know. And the value of this is going to be 65535. I think that is the value. Now, this is going to be the case, for example, in a 16-bit system. Okay, if you are trying to store integer, all right. If you are trying to store integer, that means you can store 65535 values of integer, but there is a range 0 to this much, 0 to this much. But bro, please mute your mic. Mute your mic. Who's this? Can anyone tell him to mute his mic, because I'm not able to see my meeting. Okay, from here I can see.
Yeah.
Roman, mute your mic.
Programming.
Oh, I can do that. Right. Okay. So now this is going to be the case if we are trying to represent integer, positive integers only. But now we have both positive and negative integers, right? So in a 16-bit system, if you are going to represent the negative ones also, put it off. Yes. Okay. I've done a little bit of mistake in explaining things.
Little bit complicated.
No, I'll just explain. 1 second. Okay, yeah. What the mistake I made was this. This is the value for this, not that. Okay. This is the value for this. If we had the entire 16-bit system to ourselves, okay, all the spaces were available to us, and all these spaces, these are the values, place values for this. Now the maximum value it can hold is this 1 1. If all of them are 1, because if you use 0, this will become, the value will become 0 0 0. So the maximum value that this space can hold is this. First I remove this first. So now 2 to the power . Okay, now this is correct. Okay, so in this case, if we are if you calculate the value of this is going to be this much, 65536. That is, the range is how much? It's the range is this big. That means you can store from 0 to 65535 integer values. Okay, is this much clear? Now this is the range.
Yes,
why this is -1? I will tell you, because our counting starts from 0. It does not start from 1. That is why we call the range to be how much? 65535, because 0 is also considered here. If we started from 1, it would have been this much. Okay. Now this is the case where we are only thinking about the positive integers. Okay. So far only positive integers we can. And what are they called? They are called unsigned. Okay. They do not have a sign. That means they are only plus. Normally they are only plus. That is what is here. That is what I have to explain this much so that you understand what this video is trying to tell you. Here, signed integer, unsigned integer. Okay. So what is the range of values that a particular data can hold in the computer memory? Integer classification, there are two types of integers, signed and unsigned. Signed is which one? Which has a symbol sign, like it can be positive or negative. So now, where did the word go? Now here, this one is where we are not considering any symbols. Okay, we used all of them. Now there is another situation where we are using the first place only for the signs, that is plus or minus. Okay, So our range is decreasing here now. 1 second. It's not decreasing, but it will change. How it will change, I will just tell you. Plus or minus. So now our range became how much? 2 to the power 15. 2 to the power 15 is how much? 3 2 2 sorry 3 2 7 6 8. Okay, now in this case, first one is used for this. Okay, and now you are going to get this here. 7 6 7. Okay, so here you can represent anywhere from between now if you change the symbol to minus. Okay, if you change the symbol to minus, so you can represent not from 0, you can represent from minus 3 2 7 6 8. Can you see what happened here? Your range is, if you are using a minus sign here, automatically this will become how much? Is it understandable or it's complicated?
Little bit complicated.
Little bit complicated, but you will understand. It's okay. It's first time. That's why it's a little bit complicated. I'm also not able to clarify it completely. So I will also do this part again tomorrow. Tomorrow I will prepare for number system, because the more you start going into the chapters, you will see terminologies, and without understanding the number system, without understanding the data types, you will have confusion. Okay. So now, just for
Yes, sir.
now, I will just explain this much. But for example, you use plus sign here. Okay. In this case, 1 second. In this case, you use plus sign here. Your range is how much? It is 0, 2, 3, 2, 7, 6, 7. That means it can store this many values of integers. Okay. Now suddenly it became minus. So now it became minus. That means you put a minus sign here. That is behind 0. Behind 0, that is from -1, the range changed to -1 to -3 to 7 6 8. That is the range. Okay, so the total range is going to be how much? -3 to 7 6 8 to 3 2 7 6 7. Is it little bit clearer now? As soon as you change your
Still
sign,
not clear.
the range basically tells you two things. What is the minimum number you can store, and what is the maximum value you can store? Okay, so the minimum is when you use the minus sign here, you are going to get the smallest number, smallest value you can store. This is that value. Okay, and then if you use plus sign here, then you are getting 0 2 3 2 7 6 7. So this is your maximum. So anything between that is your range. This total is your range. Okay, and I will prepare a better chart tomorrow so that we can understand these things tomorrow better. Okay, so now coming to the point here, and we can also watch this video. She is explaining a little bit. Okay, let's watch it together.
The audio is not visible.
Audio is not audible. Audio
Yes.
is not.
No
Audio is
audio.
not.
No audio.
No audio. That should not be the case. Is it that the audio is low or completely no audio?
Completely no audio.
Okay, 1 second. You will get audio now.
Or maybe it must be too low.
Yeah, okay, I'll just check.
Increasing.
Okay, do you have audio now?
No. No audio. Still no.
What a range of values.
Yeah.
Audio?
Little bit audio.
Huh?
Little bit audio came in between.
Non such data being integer, integers can be defined as whole numbers with certain range of values, with specific range of values. Now these integers
Now audible.
Audio.
classified as signed numbers,
Yes.
unsigned numbers, or signed integers or unsigned integers. Signed meaning which are the numbers which are represented using sign, which
Recording stopped.
unsigned meanings which the numbers which do not have any specific sign, particularly whole numbers. How much memory can be occupied by an integer type is always dependent on the machine's configuration. Integer type can occupy from 2 bytes to 4 bytes to 8 bytes of memory. Now this always depends on the processor which allocates the memory. A 16-bit processor will usually allocate a 2 bytes of memory for an integer value. A 32-bit processor will allocate 4 bytes of memory to an integer value, and a 64-bit processor will allocate 8 bytes of memory for an integer value. As we have known that integers will occupy certain range of values, C language allows us to alter this range by adding certain type modifiers. Now, the type modifiers alters the meaning of a base type to fit into our need more precisely. Now, the modifiers that we can see here are short and long, which are usually preceded before the data type that we use. Now, short here will have the lesser range of values than int, and long has the higher range of values than int. This table represents the kind of modifiers that are used along with the integer type.
Okay. So here I am audible, right? Okay. Now you can see this chart. If it's a 16-bit system, and it is going to represent signed integer, that means it's going to be positive or negative. The range is going to be how much? -32768 to 32767. Okay. If it is unsigned, that means there is no sign, basically it's positive. Then the range is going to be 0 to 65535. Okay. If it is short int, signed short int, and it's a 8-bit system, it's going to be -128 127, the range. And what is short long, all this I will explain better tomorrow, because we will I think first we will start data types tomorrow. Once we understand that properly, then we can go ahead. Okay, so I'm going to end the session for today. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I know that lots of confusion is there, and lots of people did not understood what I'm trying to say, because I was also not trying to convey it properly. Okay, so I will prepare the number system and then data types, and then tomorrow's session will be totally about data types, because once you have data types is very important. Once you have understood that, it's going to be useful in all, from beginning to end. It's we are going to need it. Okay.
Okay.
And also one thing, everyone, whichever chapter we are going to do, always do a quick read of the PDF once. If you read it once or twice, you may not be able to understand it completely, but there will be some grasp over what we are going to do. Okay, that will help you actually.